time for chapter 2. So Cody and I are going to go ahead and read it to you. I realize it's the same day as I did part 1, but my phone was dying, number 1. Number 2, my back was killing me. So I traded chairs with my son. And it's time for the rest of chapter 7. We're on page 95, right at the gap right there. So let's find out what's going to happen. I couldn't explain things to Tyson. He knew I was sad. He knew I wanted to go on a trip and Tantalus wouldn't let me. You will go anyway, he asked. I don't know, I admitted. It would be hard, very hard. I will help. No, I couldn't ask you to do that, big guy. Too dangerous. Tyson looked down at the piece of metal he was assembling in his lap. Springs and gears and tiny wires. Beckendorf had given him some tools and spare parts, and now Tyson spent every night tinkering, though I wasn't sure how his huge hands could handle such delicate little pieces. What are you building? I asked. Tyson didn't answer. Instead, he made a whimpering sound in the back of his throat. Annabeth doesn't like Cyclops. You don't want me along? Oh, that's not it, I said half-heartedly. Annabeth likes you. Really? He had tears in the corner of his eye. I remember that Grover, like all satyrs, could read human emotions. I wonder if Cyclops had the same ability. Tyson folded up his tinkering project in an oilcloth. He lay down on his bunk bed and hugged his bundle like a teddy bear. When he turned towards the wall, I could see the weird scars on his back, like somebody had plowed over him with a tractor. I wondered for the millionth time how he had gotten hurt. Daddy always cared for me, he sniffled. Now, I think he was mean to have a Cyclops boy. I should not have been born. Don't talk that way. Poseidon claimed you, didn't he? So he must care about you a lot. My voice trailed off as I thought about all those years Tyson had lived on the streets of New York in a cardboard refrigerator box. How could Tyson think that Poseidon had cared for him? What kind of dad let that happen to his kid, even if his kid was a monster? Tyson, camp will be a good home for you. The others will get used to you. I promise. Tyson sighed. I wait for him to say something. Then I realized he was already asleep. I lay back on my bed and tried to close my eyes, but I just couldn't. I was afraid I might have another dream about Grover. If the empathy link was real, if something happened to Grover, would I ever wake up? The full moon shone through my window. The sound of the surf rumbled in the distance. I could smell the warm scent of the strawberry fields and hear the laughter of the dryads as they chased owls through the forest. But something felt wrong about the night. The sickness of Talia's tree spreading across the valley. Could Clarice save Half-Blood Hill? I thought the odds were better of me getting Best Camper Award from Tantalus. I got out of bed and pulled on some clothes. I grabbed a beach blanket and a 6-pack of Coke from under my bunk. The Cokes were against the rules. No outside snacks or drinks were allowed, but if you talked to the right guys in the Hermes cabin and paid them a few golden drachma, he could smuggle in almost anything from you from the nearest convenience store. Sneaking out after curfew was against the rules too. If I got caught, I'd either get in big trouble or be eaten by the harpies. But I wanted to see the ocean. I always felt better there. My thoughts were clearer. I left the cabin and headed for the beach. I spread my blanket near the surf and popped open a Coke. For some reason, sugar and caffeine always calmed down my hyperactive brain. I tried to decide what to do to save the camp, but nothing came to me. I wish Poseidon would talk to me and give me some advice or something. The sky was clear and starry. I was checking out the constellations Annabeth had taught me, Sagittarius, Hercules, Corona Borealis, when somebody said, "Beautiful, aren't they?" I almost spewed soda. Standing right next to me was a guy in a nylon running shorts and a New York City Marathon t-shirt. He was slim and fit with salt and pepper hair and a sly smile. He looked kind of familiar, but I couldn't figure out why. My first thought was that he must have been taking a midnight jog down the beach and straight inside the camp's borders. That wasn't supposed to happen. Regular mortals couldn't enter the valley, but maybe with the tree's magic weakening he managed to slip in. But in the middle of the night? and there was nothing around except farmland and state preserves. Where had this guy jogged in from? May I join you, she said. I haven't sat down in ages. Now, I know, a strange guy in the middle of the night, common sense, I'm supposed to run away, yell for help, etc. But the guy acted so calm about the whole thing, I found it hard to be afraid. I said, sure. He smiled. Your hospitality does you credit. Ooh, and a Coca-Cola, may I? He sat on the other end of the blanket, popped a soda, and took a drink. Ah, that hits the spot. Peace and quiet. A cell phone went off in his pocket. The jogger sighed. He pulled out his phone and my eyes got big because it glowed with a bluish light. When he extended the antenna, two creatures began writhing around it. Green snakes no bigger than earthworms. The jogger didn't seem to notice. He checked his LCD display and cursed. I've got to take this, just a second. And then into the phone. Hello? He listened. The mini snakes writhed up and down the antenna right next to his ear. Yeah, the jogger said, listen, I know, but I don't care if he is chained to a rock with vultures pecking at his liver. If he doesn't have a tracking number, we can't locate his package. A gift to humankind, great. You know how many of those we deliver? Oh, never mind. Listen, just refer him to Arius in customer service. I gotta go. He hung up. Sorry, the overnight express business is just booming. Now, as I was saying, you have snakes on your phone. What? Oh, they don't bite. Say hello to George and Martha. Hello, George and Martha? A raspy male voice said inside my head. Don't be sarcastic, said a female voice. Why not? George demanded. I do all the real work. Oh, let's not get into that again. The jogger slipped his phone back into his pocket. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. Peace and quiet. He crossed his ankles and stared up at the stars. Been a long time since I've gotten to relax. Ever since the telegraph, rush, rush, rush. Do you have a favorite constellation, Percy? I was still kind of wondering about the little green snakes he'd shoved into his jogging shorts, but I said, I like Hercules. Why? Well, because he had rotten luck, and even worse luck than mine. It made me feel better. The jogger chuckled. Not because he was strong and famous and all that. No. You're an interesting young man. And so what now? I knew immediately what he was asking. What did I intend to do about the fleece? Before I could answer, Martha the snake's muffled voice came from his pocket. I have Demeter on line 2. Not now, the jogger said. Tell her to leave a message. She's not going to like that. The last time you put her off, all the flowers in the floral delivery division wilted. Just tell her I'm in a meeting. The jogger rolled his eyes. Sorry again, Percy. You were saying? Who exactly are you? Oh, haven't you guessed by now, a smart boy like you? Show him, Martha pleaded. I haven't been full size for months. Don't listen to her, George said. She just wants to show off. The man took his phone out again. Original form, please. The phone glowed a brilliant blue. It stretched into a 3-foot-long wooden staff with dove wings sprouting at the top. George and Martha, now full-size green snakes, coiled together around the middle. It was a catechus, the symbol of Cabin 11. My throat tightened. I realized who the jogger reminded me of with his elfish features and mischievous twinkle in his eyes. You're Luke's father, Hermes. The god pursed his lips. He struck his catechus in the sand like an umbrella pole. Luke's father. Normally that's not the first way people introduce me. God of thieves? Yes. God of messengers and travelers? If they wish to be kind. God of thieves works, George says. Oh, don't mind George, Martha flicked her tongue at me. He's just bitter because Hermes likes me best. He does not, does too. Behave, you two, Hermes warned, or I'll turn you back into a cell phone and set you on vibrate. Now, Percy, you still haven't answered my question. What do you intend to do about the quest? I don't have permission to go. No, indeed. Will that stop you? I want to go. I have to save Grover. Hermes smiled. I knew a boy once. Oh, younger than you by far. A mere baby, really. Here we go again, George said. Always talking about himself. Quiet, Martha snapped. Do you want to get us set on vibrate? Hermes ignored them. One night, when this boy's mother wasn't watching, he sneaked out of their cave and stole some cattle that belonged to Apollo. Did he get blasted into tiny pieces? I asked. No. Actually, everything turned out quite well. To make up for his theft, the boy gave Apollo an instrument he invented, a lyre. Apollo was so enchanted with the music, he forgot all about being angry. So what's the moral? The moral? Hermes asked. Goodness, you act like it's a fable. It's a true story. Does the truth have to have a moral? How about this? Stealing is not always bad. I don't think my mom would like that moral. Rats are delicious, suggested George. What does that have to do with the story? Martha demanded. Nothing, George said. I'm just hungry. I've got it, Hermes said. Young people don't always do what they're told, but if they can pull it off and do something wonderful, sometimes they escape punishment. How's that? You're saying I should go anyway, I said, even without permission. Hermes' eyes twinkled. Martha, may I have the first package, please? Martha opened her mouth and kept opening it until it was as wide as my arm. She belched out a stainless steel canister, an old-fashioned lunchbox thermos with a black plastic top. The sides of the thermos were enameled with red and yellow ancient Greek scenes, a hero killing a lion, a hero lifting up Cerberus, the three-headed dog. That's Hercules, I said, but how? Never question a gift, Hermes chided. It's a collector's item from Hercules Bust Head, the first season. Hercules Bust Heads? Great show, Hermes sighed. Back before Hephaestus TV was all reality programming. Of course, the thermos would be worth much more if I had the whole lunchbox. Or if it hadn't been in Martha's mouth, George added. I'll get you for that. Martha began chasing him around the catechus. Wait a minute, I said. This is a gift? One of two, Hermes said. Go on, pick it up. I almost dropped it because it was freezing cold on one side and burning hot on the other. The weird thing is, when I turned the thermos, the side facing the ocean north was always the cold side. It's a compass, I said. Hermes looked surprised. Very clever. I never thought of that. But its intended use is a bit more dramatic. Uncap it and you will release the winds from all four corners of the earth to speed you on your way. Not now. And please, when the time comes, only unscrew the little tiny bit. The winds are a bit like me, always restless. Should all four escape at once, but I'm sure you'll be careful. And now my second gift. George? She's touching me, George complained as he and Martha slithered around the pole. She's always touching you, Hermes said. You're intertwined. And if you don't stop that, you'll get knotted again. The snake stopped wrestling. George unhinged his jaw and coughed up a little plastic bottle filled with chewable vitamins. You're kidding, I said. Are those minotaur shaped? Hermes picked up the bottle and rattled it. The lemon ones, yes. The grape ones are furies, I think. Or are they hydras? At any rate, they're potent. Don't take one unless you really, really need it. How will I know if I really, really need it? You'll know, believe me. 9 essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, everything you need to feel yourself again. He tossed me the bottle. Thanks, I said. But Lord Hermes, why are you helping me? He gave me a melancholy smile. Perhaps because I hope you can save many people on this quest, Percy. Not just your friend Grover. I stared at him. You don't mean Luke? Hermes didn't answer. Look, I said, Lord Hermes, I mean, thanks and everything, but you might as well take back your gifts. Luke can't be saved. Even if I could find him. He told me he wanted to tear down Olympus stone by stone. He betrayed everybody he knew. He hates you especially. Hermes gazed up at the stars. My dear young cousin, if there's one thing I've learned over the eons is that you can't give up on family, no matter how tempting they make it. It doesn't matter if they hate you or embarrass you or simply don't appreciate your genius for inventing the internet. You invented the internet? It was my idea, Martha said. Rats are delicious, George said. It was my idea, Hermes said. I mean the internet, not the rats. But that's not the point. Percy, do you understand what I'm saying about family? I'm not sure. You will someday. Hermes got up and brushed the sand off his legs. In the meantime, I must be going. And 1,038 emails, George added, not counting the offers for online discount ambrosia. And you, Percy, Hermes said, have a shorter deadline than you realize to complete your quest. Your friend should be coming right about now. I heard Annabeth's voice calling my name from the sand dunes. Tyson, too, was shouting from a little farther back away. I hope I packed well for you, Herbie said. I do have some experience with travel. He snapped his fingers and 3 yellow duffel bags appeared at my feet. Waterproof, of course. If you ask nicely, your father should be able to help you reach the ship. Ship? Hermes pointed. Sure enough, a big cruise ship was cutting across Long Island Sound, its white and gold lights glowing against the dark water. Wait, I don't understand any of this. I haven't even agreed to go. I'd make up your mind in the next 5 minutes if I were you, Hermes advised. That's when the harpies will come to eat you. Now, good night, cousin. And dare I say it, may the gods go with you. He opened his hand and the catechist flew into it. Good luck, Martha said. Bring me back a rat, George said. The catechist changed into a cell phone and Hermes slipped it into his pocket. He jogged off down the beach. 20 paces away, he shimmered and vanished, leaving me alone with a thermos, a bottle of chewable vitamins, and 5 minutes to make an impossible decision. All right, so that is the rest of Chapter 7. Stay tuned for Chapter 8, coming soon. Peace out.